The following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither this station nor its owners and agents shall be held liable for the content of this program. Rebroadcast, redistributed or reused without express written permission by host or producer is not allowed.
Welcome, everybody, to the Vixen'S Vault. Today's date is Wednesday, January the 21st, 2026. 3 weeks in to the first month in 2026. Can y'all believe it? We are almost through January. Ding, 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 ding. And, of course, first month of 2026, you knew it was going to be active. Come on, guys. We all knew this was going to be fun. It's like watching popcorn. It really is. It's not, forget eating it. It's just like watching popcorn like percolate and explode on itself. Because that's been pretty much the whole dang month. Even when it comes to the conspiratorial side of it. It's funny because Mark, our producer, gets all bent out of shape sometimes when we talk, current politics or even past politics. But I got to tell you, you can't get any more conspiratorial than politics. Forget polarizing. Because it's completely, the whole thing is a hot, twisted mess. And you could literally spend the rest of your life trying to untwist all of the propaganda and the lies and the crap and the absolute false narratives going all the way back. And you're still not going to have enough time to hit it all. I mean, I'm not joking. You could just go and go and go and go and go. And no matter what rabbit hole you hit, no matter what topic you look at, if it's dealing with politics or government, you're going to find something. Even if you're not looking, it's going to smack you right upside the head. That being said, guess what? Trump is not going to invade Greenland, or so he says. But he wasn't going to invade in Venezuela either. And he really didn't invade Venezuela. He just dropped a spec ops team into Venezuela that apparently looks something like super soldiers out of a sci-fi magazine. But we're not going to go there. And he actually did touch on that a little bit today when he was talking, where he just basically kind of put it out there that, yeah, he's not going to invade. But if he did invade, they wouldn't be able to even come near the technology that would be used against them. And I actually don't doubt that. I don't even think that's bravado or false posturing. I believe that to be 1,000% true, especially because we're talking about Greenland. And I actually posted up in the chat, and those of you who are on my Facebook, I posted the other day, basically a secondary look at Greenland. Forget the strategies, forget the military importance, forget all that, and look at it kind of from a really simplistically logical standpoint. Like, if it was just about that, satellites could do it. We have all these different systems that would be fine. If it was about the minerals and the content that was under Greenland as far as profit goes, well, then the corporations would be in charge, wouldn't they? I mean, it just, some of the common sense questions you have to ask yourself when it comes to why this hunk of land is so important. And when you look back at the history of Greenland and what even the Thule population and what that etymology of that word means in Nordic, and then go into the fact that there is geological evidence of things that are underneath Greenland that cannot be explained. They have theories, but there is no explanation. The fact that, again, the actual proximity to the North Pole, all the things we know about the North Pole, then you've got, first thing I thought with Greenland was Admiral Byrd. It was literally the first thought that went through my head when Trump said he wanted Greenland. And I thought, well, that was like Byrd's Arctic expedition. That's where he went. That's where he flew over. He mapped the interior of Greenland, and he supposedly flew into a hole that led him into an inner Earth. It's a very interesting story, and they say, well, it can't be collaborated. Well, 90% of the things you hear cannot be collaborated, guys. JFK's assassination, we're still wondering. Even though we have all the files, everything on the planet, we're still missing lots of big pieces to it because they don't want to reveal it to us. They redact it. They withhold it. They don't let the public see it. Why? Because they've got a lot to lose if the public finds out. Same thing with Greenland. Oh, it's so much the same. In fact, I had a conversation with somebody the other day where I was pointing out that, the United States interest started back in the 1800s, but in the 1925, that's when Admiral Byrd actually did his expedition over the Arctic. That y'all can look that up. It's well documented. You also had stories of several people from the Scandinavian countries who got lost in Greenland and supposedly found an entrance to an inner Earth. And when they reemerged, it was in Europe. So again, these are stories. They can't be quantified. They're just, it's like when you, I guess you talk about the stories of what happened when Abe Lincoln was on his deathbed. You can't collaborate it. It's just passed down knowledge, but it's really hard to debunk some of them too. Because the people that, when they did the backgrounds on the people they spoke about, these were not like crazy people in society. These were upstanding people. So it's kind of like, I always like to compare it to like the stories of the ghost of Flight 401, the airline that crashed into the Florida Everglades around Christmas time back in the 1970s. And supposedly the pilot and the navigator from that flight appeared on other flights where they had salvaged the part of the crashed plane and put the salvageable parts into other planes. I believe it was Eastern Airlines that did this, like their galley. And literally certain things that from the plane that crashed were, I think it was 77 people died in that crash, including the pilot and the navigator. Well, the navigator and the pilot started appearing on other. This was the model of the plane was the L-1011. They started appearing on other L-1011s and warning. And there's something that was called the rag sheet that was actually circulated for Eastern Airlines of all the stewardesses, all the pilots who saw these ghosts and spoke to them. One of the times that it appeared, it told them there's going to be a fire in the engine. Shut this down when it happens. Otherwise, the plane's going to crash. Sure enough, within 15 minutes, the engine caught fire. And the last time there was a sighting, it was the navigator. And he told a stewardess there will never be another crash of an L-1011 again. And it never did happen again. So it's like one of those type stories where it's documented, but nobody actually believed it. They even put an Eastern Airlines psychiatrist on one of those flights because he knew the navigator in life, and the navigator appeared to him. And again, this is documented. The guy wrote a report on it. Eastern Airlines actually sued John Fulton, who actually wrote a book on this. There was a movie. You guys can watch the movie on YouTube. It's actually creepy as all hell, but it's an actual true accounting of what happened. I think Ernest Borgnine actually stars as the navigator who died. But guys, it is one of the most interesting paranormal cases I have ever looked into, where literally this went to the Florida State Supreme Court because Eastern Airlines did not want John Fulton publishing that book. And the Eastern Airlines lost. They lost their asses, and John published the book. So that's kind of what I compare this type of information to. Admiral Byrd had many things that he participated in throughout his career. He had the Arctic expedition in 1925. I believe it was 1947 when he did Operation High Jump down in the Antarctic. And that was actually connected to the Arctic expedition, believe it or not. And of course, we know what happened with High Jump, where he reported that there were disc-like objects that attacked the fleet that he had, decimated the fleet he had, and that if this was Nazis, or if whoever was controlling these, there's no way we could fight them. We didn't have the technology to fight them. And he, of course, within weeks of that being published, he died a very strange death. And not even 3 months after that, his son, his adult son, who also witnessed several things, died a very strange death. So when it comes to Greenland, my eyebrows shot through the roof as soon as I heard what was going on. I'm like, oh, wait. And then things started clicking for me. I was like, didn't Trump actually take what was then, it's not Thule Air Force Base anyway. Biden renamed it during his administration, but it was at that time in 2019, it was Thule Air Force Base. He took it out of the control of the Air Force and he gave it to Space Force. It is now a major hub for Space Force. And I was like, that's really interesting. Okay, so again, you have a void underneath Greenland that geologists have been talking about for about 5 years now that has some kind of structures in the void that they can't identify. But the running theories are that it's either a natural formation, which they don't believe because of the way the structures, the way Greenland is underneath, the ice formations and everything else underneath. They don't think this is something that was naturally formed. So it's a matter of, is this something that was ancient, that was left behind by an ancient civilization, maybe pre-Ice Age? Or is this something that is very advanced that's down there because of all of the electromagnetic inconsistencies with Greenland? It's just such a, I always say that, it's such a rabbit hole to go down. And everybody wants to say it's for strategic defense. Well, yeah, I do believe it is for strategic defense, but I don't know if it's from Russia and China. That's where I'm questioning, because I'm like, well, the same week this is all going on and this blew up out of control, you had the Bank of England go public and state that they were making contingency. They needed to make contingency, basically, I guess you could say plans in case of alien disclosure. This is all happening in the same week. And I'm like, okay, so we had massive disclosures happening in the United States. We've got the Bank of England itself going public saying they need to make a contingency plan in case of alien disclosure. We've got Greenland going on at the same time. And then today we had the Israeli representative at Davos give a speech saying they needed to embrace the Muslims and the imams and all needed to come together in a coordinated, I guess you could say, effort to be one. When I noted it when I posted it today, because I was like, the Roman Catholics did this a year and a half ago. The Pope actually met with the imams and did the same exact thing. So you're looking at a push towards a one world religion. Okay, Project Bluebeam. Y'all, if you haven't read it, you need to go look it up and read it, because it is literally playing out right in front of you. A coordinated effort to literally basically screw with you guys and make it seem like it's something it's not, so they can gain control. Again, in a way that I can't even get my head around it, because it's so obvious to me. And I'm like, even with the rabbis meeting with the imams, I'm like, really? So basically they're going to form a wall of religion that what if you don't give a crap about any of their beliefs? Like I don't. I stand outside all of them. I don't buy into any of that. So what happens to somebody like me if that's a one world religion? Am I now going to have a problem because I have to believe what you're telling me to believe? I don't think so. Pretty sure that is the biggest violation of human rights possible. To tell somebody what their soul has to believe. Pretty sure that's number one violation of a human right. So again, people, you're seeing things that are being formatted and being pushed. That's why socialism's being pushed. That's why communism, well, actually socialism, that's actually communism, is being pushed. It's all being pushed because it's all about people believing they have freedom, believing they're acting as a unit, like we're a society. You know how they always say it takes a village to raise a child? Well, that term came about because, they want the village to believe they're in control. They're not. They're taking orders from the idiot sitting at the top of the pile who got really, really fat and wealthy and hogged all the resources, so y'all are fighting each other for the damn resources that they decide to throw at you as scraps. And no, I'm not saying capitalism is much better, but what we see right now, this is not capitalism. Okay, what the United States has, this is not capitalism. This is 1,000% an oligarchy. Actually, it's a mixture of socialism and an oligarchy. It is not capitalism. Capitalism does not allow for the type of monopolies that we have in our society. Capitalism does not allow for absolute corporate control by like 0.01%. Okay? That is not capitalistic. And anybody who tells you there it is lying to you. Capitalism is free market trade. We don't have free market trade. I'd love to say we did, guys. I really would love to say we do, but we don't. And you know how that's becoming really evident? Take a look. Those of you who are United States citizens, go ahead and take a look at like your local veterinary clinics. Take a look at, you know, all your little mom and pops places that you like to go to. And one of the things you're going to notice is even though they may have the same name, they're under different management. A lot of them. You know why? Because they've been bought up by corporate interests. That's why a lot of people are wondering why. In fact, I'm going to focus on the vets because that is like the big thing right now. In fact, I think Tucker Carlson did a huge report on that recently about why are veterinary bills going up through the roof here in the United States. Well, it's because it's been a lot of the private vets have been bought out by corporate vets, the corporate vet the bigger groups, and basically they pushed up the cost of veterinary treatment to the point where you have to you're forced to buy insurance for your pet. So the insurance can pay. It's an absolute Ponzi scheme like nobody's business. But it shows you again, that's not capitalism, guys. That is you're looking into antitrust violations. And they get around that by using shell companies for the same company. They lie on paper. It's the same thing with real estate. It's happening everywhere in the United States, and absolutely nobody is putting the brakes on. Although I do think I have seen the Trump administration starting to try to address it here and there, but they've got so many other things they're trying to punch out right now. This country is such a hot mess. I mean, even Minnesota.
Good regulation. It's good regulation. That's the stuff Mark Edworthy loves. He's like, yes.
It's true, though. I mean, dude, think about it. Think at how many monopolies. Like, look at BlackRock. How is BlackRock it's a monopoly. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you know the fact that they cut out that Blackstone and BlackRock, you know, even though they're all the same, like the hegemony is ridiculous. They're all the same people when it comes to their boards and everything. They just switch them back and forth. Basically, they cover real estate and everything else. Like it is the largest monopoly I've ever seen in my life. And they get away with it because they put themselves under Blackstone and BlackRock. So it's still skirting antitrust, but it's so ridiculously obvious it smacks you in the face. But on top of that, like I know Larry Fink gave a talk at Davos this week too, where he was, and for those who don't know, Larry Fink is the CEO of BlackRock, where he was discussing, basically he was pushing socialism. And I kind of pointed out when I posted it, this is really problematic because if you look at Larry Fink's history, he is actually a professor emeritus at several Chinese universities. I'm just going to take that second and point out that that's a massive national security risk. So why is that excuse me? Is China or is China not an enemy of the United States right now? Should we have somebody who controls pretty much all the money flowing through this country to be in a position where they're professor emeritus at a enemy nation's universities? Pretty sure that is a massive national security risk. So again, folks, it's so obvious when you're looking at it, but, and people could say, well, diplomacy. No, diplomacy my ass. If this was any of us on this panel and we had ties like that in China, we'd be sitting in jail. And in fact, in the United States, we'd be sitting in jail under the NDAA, which means we don't get a lawyer, we don't get a phone call, we don't get crap, we just disappear into a hole that there's no climbing out of. And that is the truth of it. So again, I'm kind of shaking my head at the obviousness of things. And again, I understand you cannot one thing at a time. And I actually think Trump's doing a damn good job of trying to get to things. I mean, even Minnesota, people don't see that for what it actually is. And I keep saying it, and now it's becoming more obvious because now they're at least starting to publish some of the information about the people that are being arrested, the immigrants that are being arrested in Minnesota. Because everybody says, oh, these poor innocent people, they're just trying to earn a living. They just want the American dream. No, dude. 97% of the people that have been detained in Minnesota are charged with crimes against children. 97% of them. That's a hell of a statistic. And what else? What did I say on this show a couple weeks ago about Minnesota? It is a child trafficking hub internationally. And it's been known in law enforcement for at least 2 decades to be a child trafficking hub. So what do you think is actually going on with ICE in Minnesota? It's not about sending, Julio, who owns a lawn business, who's just trying to get by and feed his kid. It's not about deporting them. It's about deporting people who are really evil and making a lot of money off our children and their flesh. And I got to tell you, it's. I wish I could say differently, but the stats are proving me correct. That's what they're going after. And yes, innocent people, Julios are being picked up too in these sweeps, unfortunately. But if they have no criminal background, yes, they're going to get deported. But they will be given a chance to come back. Why is that? Well, guys, it's because of federal law. Federal law states the president, ICE, all of them, they cannot. These people are not being deported because they're criminals. They're being deported. They're not being deported because of criminal actions. They're being deported because they're illegally here. So in other words, the president, ICE, they can't discern between an illegal alien. If you're an illegal alien, they either get them all or they can't get any of them. Because if they don't get them all, if they start discerning and discriminating in that way, when it goes to court, it's going to get thrown right out the door. Because that's the way the liberals have screwed up our judicial system at this point. So unfortunately, thank you to them, what we perceive as innocent illegals, that's such an oxymoron, but it's true. I say there are people that came here really just to better their lives and try to help their children. Did they do it incorrectly? Yes, they absolutely did. Should there be a pathway for them? I think after all the bad ones are sent back, yes, absolutely. Let's try to find them a pathway to get back here. But does the law give the federal government the right to discern? No, it does not. And you know who's quoted as saying that? Not Donald Trump. Barack Obama. And he's not wrong. So guys, again, it's what a week. What a week. And things are coming out more and more. And again, like I said, the conspiracy side of me is just like, I feel like I have a buzzer going off in my head 24/7. Like every time I read an article, I'm like, oh, I got to reread that because so much, I can see so many things happening at one time. And in my book, it's good things. But in most people's books, until everything pans out, and in fact, I know Raphael, my number one critic, and when it comes to this, he's cautionary, and I can't blame him. That's so much power to put in one place. If Trump is doing what we think he's doing, what if he's not a good guy? And he's not wrong to question that. I follow my intuition, and I follow patterns, and I don't think he's a bad guy. I really don't, into the depth of my soul. But Rafi is much more careful in that way. He's been burned so many times by the government.
Picture, if you will, a radio show so cheap that.
But Rafi, I know you want to say something, but I got to take us out to our first break of the night. So when we come back, I'm gonna let you lead in. Hang in there, guys. We are gonna be back in just a few more moments with the Vixen's Vault.
All right, we're on radio break. Right on time.
I didn't realize. I was gonna say I didn't know we were that close to break, Rafi. But I know. I knew. I was watching for your window to start blinking. I'm like, oh, he's breathing heavier. I could see it like blinking up and down, which means he's breathing, which means he's gonna say something.
Whatever. I'm walking the dogs. That's why.
Did you finish that file?
I started cleaning it up and added that one blurb about the HSI, but yeah, we need to clean it up a little bit more, just make it a little more understandable for the layman reader, like we have, for our clients. So.
Yes, copy that. But now you know why I was giving you girl looks every time you interrupted me, because I was trying to read through that file and I'm like, oh my god.
No, that case file's a clusterfuck. Sorry, Mark. It's a Charlie Foxtrot, but it's it's clearly just the cliff notes and the screenshots. I mean, it's basically what it is, just substantiating information. It's not really there's really no case reports that I can find in there.
Yeah, there are. There's several of the doctor's reports, and then there's several agencies' reports in there. So I did see those, and I read through them. That's why I included it.
I only had like 20 minutes to go through it.
Yeah, I know, and it's a 400-page file.
300+ pages.
That's why when you kept asking me to read, I was like, "Are you sure you want to read it?" Because I was like, I think I got to page like 15, and I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, but I mean, if they're gonna submit it, they need to clean up the information and basically organize it in such a manner that it's easier for the intake investigator to understand what's going on.
To give you guys kind of make you laugh, this file was actually put together by an attorney, and the two of them, Rafi and I, are both going through it like going cross-eyed. I was just like, "Oh my god."
That's a first-year paralegal right there.
Oof.
Come on, guys.
That's like a high school kid looking to do a term paper or something. I don't know. That was, oh my god.
Give it to Mark Edworthy. He'll do it for you.
Oh, I don't think Mark Edworthy wants to go through this.
He loves
yeah. You got to have a hard stomach to go through what's in this file.
He gets excited about terms of services.
Ooh, I'm sorry. So sorry.
Yeah.
Did you just step on the dog?
No, I just smacked her in the face with the door.
Which one?
Molly?
Molly?
No, Little Bug.
Little Bug, no. Okay, so we have our Chug. She's half Chihuahua, half Pug. She's black, and she looks like a bowling ball. Like this little walking bowling ball. Actually, she could be a cartoon dog.
It looks like a slug.
She looks like a miniature black Jabba the Hutt. But
that sounds pretty darn adorable.
She is actually. She really freaking is adorable. She is adorable. She has a snaggle tooth.
Sometime.
Yeah, I'll put it up
in the photo sometime here on Teams or whatever.
But she's like a solid little dog. But man, she gets under her foot. Oh man, we call her Little Bug too because she's got the Chihuahua bug eyes. Oh, that dog. But yeah, so that's now you guys know my last 3 days, and then of course telling Vicky that she's not in trouble with me. I don't know why she always thinks she's in trouble with me.
What?
I love her.
Why would she be in trouble?
I don't know. I think it because when she doesn't have contact with me, she thinks I'm mad at her. I'm like, oh no, I don't contact anybody.
I mean,
it's equal opportunity ignorance.
You and I really only talk on show nights, unless you know.
I know. Well, I tell her I get busy doing things, so if I don't respond, I'm like, I mean, Rafi will tell you, I have had my head in reports since when? Last Wednesday or Thursday? I have just been one after another, and it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of research.
Under 30 seconds, and by the way, looks like Jack's going to have Jeff Nadal. Yeah, I can't even. That does Dogman and.
Nice.
Yeah, he's going to have him on soon. Anyways, 3,
I've got,
2, 1, and you're live and on the radio side right now.
Welcome back to the Vixen's Vault. I know as we were going on break, Raphael was breathing heavily into his microphone, and I can tell that because his microphone keeps pulsing. So I'm pretty sure he was wanting to respond to what I was saying.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I'm a little more cautious than you are. I mean, because despite how much I want the Q drops to be real and that there's an underlying plan behind everything that Trump is doing, I still worry about beyond him. He's mortal. He's not going to be president forever. Everybody dies. Everybody, moves on. Got to retire. But I don't know what the plan is long term. So I exercise an abundance of caution, because the thing is, though, we have a government that has run amok. It is no longer a constitutional republic, and they don't restrain themselves with the Constitution. They just do everything they can to move that goalpost further and further out, or just step over the line and just look at you and say, what the F are you going to do about it? Like Venezuela, they try to justify as, narco trafficking. They try to say it was, the parallel was Noriega and Panama. And, it doesn't make it constitutionally legit.
Sound.
And the thing is, though, when you can just go around and start labeling people terrorists, for whatever reason, whether it's narcotics or anything else, you're just finding yourself a loophole so that you can do whatever you want.
I find it interesting though, Ralphie, because I think sometimes a lot of this is happening to show us to really put it front and center, because right now it's only a small group of us, the Anons, really, who saw the abuses that were happening over the last 10, 15 years. The fact that the NDAA was being put into play. All of these things were happening and nobody was talking about it on the news. It was like a pariah subject. You could not even bring up the NDAA. I never heard it talked about on the news at all, except for the fact that it was unanimously passed every year, except for a couple of years where Rand Paul kind of stuck his finger in it, but then stopped doing that. He passes it unanimously with everybody else now. So it's one of those things where, you have to understand what's in that. The National Defense Authorization Act. It started, 2012 was where the big changes started happening. But it gives the president authority over so many things, it's not funny. Mm-hmm. And like narco-terrorism, remember you said there's no such animal as narco-terrorism. Yes, there is, and it's defined in the NDAA. And that's what I was saying. It supersedes the Constitution, and it shouldn't. It's not legal by the Constitution. It is not legal. But because Congress passes it, that makes it legal. And that's in our Constitution, too, unfortunately. So it's like...
narcotics trafficking it's clear-cut criminal activity. It's not... terrorism in and of itself, the very definition of terrorism is a violent act for political gain.
Correct.
Narcotics, by and large, are transactional crimes. There's nobody going around from junkie to junkie and holding a gun to their head and forcing them to, suck on that crack pipe. They're paying for that item to do themselves. There's nobody forcing them to do it. And so that's where I say trying to paint Maduro or any cartel is the same as Al-Qaeda is a non-starter. It's not the same thing. But again, what I'm saying is, what going to add was that it was just the last administration that was labeling anybody that was a constitutional conservative, a nationalist,
Yep.
as a domestic terrorist.
Terrorist.
If Trump, gets, let's just hypothetically, gets assassinated, doesn't get reelected, somebody else comes into power that the deep state controls, the global bankers control, the Davos crowd, you know who I'm talking about, with the people we're always talking about, that are controlled by those people. Well, then they're just going to turn around and use that new mile marker, that new goalpost line that Trump just set out, and push it further from there. And that's what I talk about when I say the slippery slope is,
precedents. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, once you set precedents, that's it. And the problem is, I remember when I was in, we used to talk crap about the ACLU and everything else, but now, man, I want to be a card carrying member, because that's the only way you have to be on top of government all the time. Otherwise, they will continue to do whatever they want, because there's nobody watching or nobody willing to stand up to them. And that's really what it comes down to.
I find it interesting, too, because even with like the narco-terrorism, the definition of terrorism, and I know they're trying to push that word onto what's happening in Minnesota with the protesters, but it's a very interesting caveat that these protesters are paid in Minnesota. And there's been plenty of evidence to back that up, because there's plenty of emails, advertisements, and everything else that have been posted, documents posted that show that these people are being hired and paid to do what they're doing and trained. But because they're paid, it kind of makes it very hard to label them as terrorists, which makes that a very interesting thing. Now, the people paying them, yeah, they're going to have some problems if it goes that. I think it's actually they're doing that now, because I believe the heads of state over there were referred to the DOJ. I want to say day before yesterday, but that includes Tim Waltz. They're all being referred over. But I'm saying they need to get back to the pockets, the Soroses, and it's not just Soros. There's several foundations involved with funding these people, and they all go back to a very interestingly unique destination that I'm not going to mention. But on top of that, again, you have so many dynamics happening. You had Don Lemon this weekend, that idiot. What a flipping idiot goes into a church with a bunch of these Minnesota protesters during a mass with children in the mass, and basically storms the church, takes over the pulpit, won't let the preacher speak, has his protesters all up and down the pews scaring the crap out of everybody and telling them, and he even said it on live feed, that he wants them terrified, basically completing the definition of terrorism. Idiot. And it shows little kids, their parents, like running them out of the church, and they're terrified. You can tell they are. And he's doing the interview, and he looks up and he starts laughing. He goes, "No, we want this. We want them to be terrified like that." Well, you dumbass, you just literally, you're going to get charged with terrorism, idiot. But not to mention the fact that they actually charged him with the KKK Act, which I started laughing, because I'm like, so we have now charged a black man with the KKK Act because he actually did the crime. If you read what's in that act, that's exactly what he did. It doesn't matter if he's black. He broke the law. And it was funny, because they were saying how he was saying that it was the white man's church and this and that. And I had to laugh at the memes that came out of that, because even I know that Don Lemon's married to a white man. It's like, dude, are you that much of an attention whore? Are you looking for the spotlight that much that you just would fall on the stake? Or are you actually working as a counter-operative to make the movement look really stupid? Because that's what you accomplished. It's kind of like Mandami. I keep saying I think Mandami is a counter-operative. I think he's a Trump pawn. Why? Because he is making Democrats look so utterly and completely stupid and ridiculous in New York right now. It's not even funny. Like, he's single-handedly destroying the Democrat Party in New York. And it's really obvious that that's what he's doing. And I'm like,
I think it's just actually I mean, it's what you said. Everybody these days are stupid. It has nothing to do with a plan. You keep thinking like they got some kind of plan going on. They're just stupid people. Like now, Jews apparently are white supremacists. Freaking black people are in the KKK.
Well, did you see where this was where I got it. I remember I kept telling you guys, I don't know why the Christians in the United States are so pro-Zionism. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand it. And the actual Christian church, the head of the Christian church in Israel, issued an edict over the weekend basically condemning Christian Zionists. I started laughing. I showed it to Raphael. I was like, look at this. I told you. And I was like, see, here's the problem. The Christian church in Israel, and I've been telling people, I don't understand Christian Americans. They're idiots. Christians are persecuted in Israel just like the Muslims are. They're treated like secondhand citizens over there. And they know it. I was like, so they issued this edict. I said, but they can't condemn Israeli Zionism because if they do, they break the law in Israel. So they can only condemn Christian Zionism.
It was because of a rewrite of the Bible. I want to say in like 1920s. I want to say it was like the King James Bible or this something like that. Anyway, long story short is that the Jews rewrote the Bible and put in there all the crap about the Judeo-Christian relationship. It's but
that never made sense.
It was all part of the takeover. I mean, it's like kind of like how Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Jordan Maxwell, owned McGraw Hill and wrote all our history books. You know, what we think we know about the past is not even close. I mean, you can find pre-1920 Bibles, which have clear maps with Palestine being labeled Palestine. There was no Israel prior to that,
right.
But sometime during that era, not only did they rewrite the Bibles, but they rewrote his religious history. When it comes to Israel,
even during the Roman Empire, and this again, I hate having these topics discussed with people that are really stubborn, because it was not called Israel, it was called Judea. And it's like, y'all are freaking they're going to argue the semantics of Palestine when they weren't even called Israel. They were called Judea. So it's like, it makes no sense to me. And I always point out to Christians, especially Christian Zionists. In fact, Ralphie and I have a mutual friend who declared as a Zionist and then took it back really quick. But I was like, well, here's the problem. In the Bible, if you actually read the Bible and you read the account of the, of Easter Sunday and the crucifixion and the resurrection, it was not Pontius Pilate who wanted to execute Jesus. It was, or Yeshua, as his actual name is. It was not Pontius Pilate. He actually fought for him not to be executed. He wanted to execute Barabbas, however you pronounce his name. And it was the actual Pharisees, the Jews, who wanted Christ crucified and fought for his crucifixion and got his crucifixion. That is in the Bible. You can't miss it. They read it every Easter Sunday in the Christian masses. That is what happened. So,
and they don't talk about the Talmud and their interpretations of, that Christ is in hell, simmering in his own and pooping and skeet.
Yeah, he's not even a prophet. At least the Muslims think he was a prophet. I always say that. At least the Muslims recognize him as a holy man. Okay, I mean, we got to give him credit where it's due. But again, as somebody who I stand outside all of these religions, so I can look at these things and just shake my head and be like, what the hell are people thinking? Do you have no free thought? Do you just listen to the preacher and not actually read the book? Because in any good book club, you got to read the book. But it's like, I don't
think most
get
people
it.
are sheep. I think most people are sheep, and they'll listen to whatever the talking heads say.
Well, and even that, I still got to go back to, and Vicky would roll over and have a heart attack right now if she heard me, but it was written by men. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, all of and what is the one thing we all know about men and women and humanity?
Religion has nothing to do with God, period. Okay.
Thank
First of all,
you.
it's about creating laws. It's about freaking telling people how they need to live, and it's about telling people freaking that
Control.
about controlling them. Yeah, like everybody has a hard time when I tell them there's a difference between being religious and being spiritual. Okay, there's spiritual principles in religion if you're looking for them.
Yes.
But most people don't want to look at those. They don't. They want to hear about "thou shalt not kill."
Well, the spiritual principles are actually, if you've noticed throughout time, they have been in many religions. Spiritual principles have actually been pointed out as evil. And, thou shalt not tolerate a witch. I mean, but yet they used witches throughout the Bible for different purposes.
That was part of the religion, though. See, for religion, that they didn't like those women running around being independent. Now, in today's world, they're saying, "Oh, you can't interpret the Bible that way because it's a different way of living." No, that's the wrong way of thinking. Okay. People today who are Christians are freaking heathens. They've turned against their God. They don't believe in the texts that were given to them because it says that all women should be freaking scorned for trying to be somebody that they're not. And for a person to be intelligent, they're sinning, okay? Because you're not supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge.
The tree of knowledge. Yep.
So you're supposed to say forever in ignorance and believe in blind faith towards this invisible God.
Unless you're of their sect. See, this is what I mean. There's no segue in the Bible for priests to be the scholars, but
that's been added in. That's been added in to make by man. Okay, man said, "Hold on a minute. We need to allow our intellectual people to have a little leniency, just like sending men off to freaking war. That's not murder because the church absolves them."
Yep.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? Yep.
Thou shalt not kill. Okay. So they separate the difference between thou shalt not kill from murder. Killing is killing. Okay. Period. It doesn't matter if freaking you go off to war, or if you do it on the streets, you're still killing something.
Yep. But this is what I mean, Roger. But it's the automatic. It's like the blueprint of the fact that it was written by people. They always say, "Oh no, the Bible was written by God through his prophets." Well, his prophets were what, men? I'm just, come on. People are fallible, and when you're talking socio-political, and that's what the Bible is, and that's what the Quran is, and that's what the Torah is. That's what they all are. They're socio-political. And it's like it's used to control the masses. That's why you have different versions of the Bible depending on where it was written. I mean, you've got the King James Version. You've got multiple versions of the Bible, all printed in different areas and all have little differences. And I mean, then you've got when the Bible was put together, the New Testament. And, I can tell you, I don't know very many Christians who actually realize how that was done, that it was a council put together in the 3rd century by Constantine. And literally they decided to go through and throw out what they didn't like and keep what they liked, whatever fit their narrative. That's how we lost the Book of Enoch, by the way. Literally, whatever fit their narrative stayed, and whatever didn't got lost. And then whatever pagan things they thought were going to make society more amenable, they left in. Like they changed all the holidays around to fit pagan holidays. Why? Because they were surrounded by mainly pagan populations. And to force a religion down their throat, they had to make it amenable.
Yeah. Well, the Book of Psalms is a good example. Okay, the Book of Psalms is the feminine aspect of Christian beliefs.
Yep.
Now, you turn around and you talk about the masculine and the feminine, and you start talking about text, and that's when you have what happened to me when I started talking about that with Bob Dub. Everybody started accusing me of being homosexual. You see what I mean? And they don't.
Yep.
They're not intelligent enough to understand that freaking the masculine and the feminine is for more than gender. Okay, it's like there's masculine and feminine in trees.
Yep. It's
mean?
funny. I was just having this conversation with somebody. There are masculine and feminine traits in all humans. We all have a balance of traits, and you all have a balance of, how do you put this, markers in your genetics that allow for masculine and feminine traits. It's just a matter of what genetics and how they conformed as to whether or not you end up being a boy or a girl. But you're going to have traits. Like I have masculine traits. I have a binary mind. That is not normally considered feminine in any way, shape, or form. Can't help it. Wish I could. I tend to, and Rafi will tell you, I'm not like a girly girl. I can be, but I'm a sweatpants girl. I like being comfortable. But it's and I'm logical in a lot of what I do, and I try not to let my emotions get the best of me, because when I do, things tend to get really bad. But it's, again, we all have a spread of traits, and that's biology. And I'm not, I don't believe in the he, she, they, them, it, whatever, 97 classifications for a person. No. But in fact, I was laughing because somebody posted a meme the other day. Dude, I posted on my Facebook, I was like, that's perfect. Basically saying that Democrats spent all this time trying to elect a woman president. How can they do that when they can't even define what a woman is? I was like, oh.
I was picking on Mark and them the other night. I was like, where do they come up with transgender? I mean, it's like they got like 20, 30 freaking genders. I mean, trans is supposed to mean 3, right?
We were talking about Lotus Eaters on video, and that video them suggested there was something like 200 genders.
Yes, I think it's 72. Most government in the United States, most government paperwork recognizes like 72 ways to be identified.
Where do they come up with transgender though? Like, isn't transgender like meaning 3 different? I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do they come up with that? Like their math isn't even right.
Dude, none of this is right.
It goes back to my whole thing about stupid people. You know what I mean? Just people are stupid today.
Well, it's, I kind of liken it to people when they go to the grocery store and they kind of just scan the ingredients on their food and they don't actually read what's in. It's the same thing. These psychologists and these psychiatrists get up there and they give their very bibliophile type definition that actually, if you understand the words they're saying, makes no sense, and it's a full deflection from anything factual or logical. But normal people, and I say that with tongue in cheek because to me, I think we're a very uneducated society. They just take it at face value. Oh, they must know they got a PhD or whatever behind their name. No, some of the biggest idiots I know have PhDs, but again, you're taking it at face value. And these idiots are testifying before Congress. There was one the other day, a doctor. She had her doctorate. I think it was in gynecology and something else. And they kept asking her, can a man get pregnant? She must have deflected 50 times. Would not answer the question. And he even re-simplified it and said, can a biological male get pregnant? She would. I have patients, so she kept just repeating the same thing. She would not answer the question.
Actually, I think the UK NHS doctrine, or at least was officially up to maybe last year or something, stated that men could get pregnant.
They can't. Biological male cannot.
You could lactose as well.
Stick them up your butt.
Literally,
right.
They don't have a placenta. They don't have the equipment necessary to have a baby.
Put it in the
All right. Roger, Roger, you think about the mechanics. I got to take us out to our long break. Hang in there, folks. We will return with the Vixen's Vault after a few moments, and Roger really puts work into the mechanics of that.
It's called
We
a
shall
butthole
return.
Baby. A butthole baby. Oh, my goodness.
All right, we're on radio break.
That's like old school, man. You know, butthole baby.
Butthole baby. Dude, you put it this way. It would be like the fastest in-out I've ever seen in my life because there's nothing to hold it up. I mean, nothing. There's nothing to hold a fetus in there.
You take a condom, you put it up in there, and you just freaking what do they call those rubber bands that hold your butt cheeks together?
You, all right.
What would you do with the
Only
prostate?
Thing, Roger, don't you? Thank
Only
God.
me.
Thank God. Yeah, only you. I'm telling you because
Whatever.
thank goodness that Sonia is in here. She'd give you a piece of her mind about this too.
What do they call the sphincter? The sphincter. You just put the condom up there and then you tighten that sphincter up. Just like a rubber band, you just tighten it. Tie that thing up in a knot, get it all tight.
Wow.
Actually,
Thank
Raphael
God.
could probably teach a course on that because, like, every time he gets around, when you even start talking about homosexuality, his sphincter goes, whoop! It's like...
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
He's not finding that very funny. I can tell you that. He just
That's
exhaled.
the thing. When you're not a homosexual, your sphincter still goes whoop.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, it's okay to freaking...
Can anyway.
It's okay to have a conversation with a person who's gay and everything, but whenever you freaking get close to them, they better not be touching your balls. You know what I mean? 'Cause
See,
that's
okay, why does that not... Okay, see, now I got to, as a female, I got to insert here, and you can take that however way you want.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So why is it not that same method of thought when it comes to, like, women being around
'Cause that's
homosexual
hot.
women?
That's
No,
hot, dude.
see,
Yes,
that
that
I
is
gotta tell you,
so
man,
hot, dude.
I have
She's
yet to meet a
stiffing.
guy. I have yet to meet a guy who doesn't, who's like, oh, that's something wrong with that. They're like, oh, well, you know, it's like, no, dude, do you know how uncomfortable that is when you're a straight female?
We all know as guys that women have lesbian tendencies because, you know, hey, that's just how it is. But if a guy says to another guy, hey, you look good, or like Roger was trying to do, you're a handsome guy, I'm like,
He's a good-looking
away
man.
from him.
I said he's
But
a
anyways,
good-looking man.
You know, when a woman says to another woman, oh man, she's pretty gorgeous, she looks great. I mean, a guy wouldn't say that about another guy unless there's something going on with
If
you.
a
Come on
woman
now.
says to another woman, hey, she's gorgeous, she looks great, that doesn't mean she's got homosexual tendencies.
No,
When a
no,
woman
I
says
mean,
to another
it's
woman,
inherent.
oh my
They
God,
can't
you're
help it.
gorgeous.
You
I mean, put it
can't
this
help
way.
it. It's part of the biology.
With
It is
with
biology.
put it this way, with women, like especially like with the more bull-dyke type women, they can be seriously freaking aggressive. And I've worked with several, and it's for some. I was saying to Rafi,
All right, and we'll be back with more Vixen's Vault after I eat what I got and get them back up on the air again. Hey, Raph.
Hey.
Well, you agree too, right?
Oh, yeah. Girl on girl's hot. Nothing wrong with it.
well, I was going to say that was a strange place to get cut off.
It was perfect.
Yeah, so
Truly, though.
I said we don't need none of that stuff. We want to quiet Nancy down. She got too excited, is what they said.
Dude, because it's something that has annoyed me. I can tell
I
you.
ask you a question?
Oh,
Yep.
boy.
How many chicks do you know that freaking like to kiss each other?
Let me think about
In
that.
the 90s or now?
now in the 90s, all of it. Like, I mean, how many?
I say that as a little bit of a joke, because back in the day, all girls said that they were bi just to turn us guys on, you know, and that still happens a little bit today, but just not as much as it did 10 years ago.
I was an 80s.
Not
I
as
was
a
an
trend,
80s
not
girl.
as being gay. I'm just saying, how many girls just enjoy giving each other kisses?
I peck on the cheek. I don't even peck my friends on the cheek. Are you kidding me? I don't know too many.
I mean, how many women do give each other kisses? You know, like, and then you take a look at
Roger,
guys.
you don't have to coddle it around me here. Hello.
You take a look at guys. It's like Mark was saying. You know, guys don't do that shit.
I don't think he knows how to coddle it.
All right, Frenchmen do. I'm just going to put that out there. Frenchmen do.
We
you
don't.
know,
Whatever.
we all know that they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the frogs gay. So
Don't get us started on the French again. You know how.
See, I'm right, though. I'm right. But the thing is, I will be very honest. Some of the younger women I know.
Stop eating the horses. That's all I gotta say, dude. You know
some of
who
the
you
younger
are out
women.
there.
Let me answer you. Some of the younger women I know are like that, but most of the women my age, no. No, it's something that does, because in the 80s, again, that was something that you didn't even. Dude, I think I knew one girl in high school who it was suspected she was a bisexual, and that poor girl went from a head cheerleader to completely ostracized within like 3 weeks, just because it was suspected.
I could be wrong, but I honestly don't believe in actual bisexuals, you know, for guys especially. I mean, a guy's hairy butt and the beautiful shape of a woman, curves of a woman. No, very serious here. Isn't going to turn the same person on. Either the hairy butt will turn you on, or the curves will turn you on. Now with the gals, I believe it's more of a just turns us guys on. They do it for the total opposite because they're heterosexual. But either way, maybe there's real gay folk, but not bi.
I think with women, it's more of a fear. It's a safety thing. Something with a male happened that they didn't feel safe with men, and they do feel safe with other females. That's what I think it is with women. Because with women, the act of sex, you have to feel safe. You have to. Otherwise, nothing turns on.
Well, lesbian sex is make-believe, though. That's not real sex. You see, that's the thing. You guys need to understand. Like, I think that's really just like a waste of time and effort. It's a waste of time and effort. Like, why are you dry humping?
Mr. Edworthy has to say about this.
He doesn't know what to say.
Quiet. He's good because he's putting up his "I'm single" sign. I have no idea of what you people are speaking of. That is what his face says right now. Nor do I want to know.
Well, like, females have to have organs for things to actually work.
But again, for female organs to function, it has to be hooked to their brain. For their brain to function in the act of sex, they have to feel safe.
I don't know about all that, man. I don't have anything.
It's true.
My brain my organ works
unless
fine.
they suffer from like nymphomania, and even nymphomania is said to have been from something traumatic, and it just screws up the way their chemistry works in their brain.
I've never met a nymphomania in my life, dude, ever. I mean, it's like I hear that word all the time, and I just don't believe women are nymphomaniacs. I think that's just
women
a made-up word.
are but Roger, our hormones are different than men's are. Okay, men's hormones, you guys go pretty much your whole life. You don't have like you have a little bit of a choking point, but not didn't mean it that way. But not, I thought about it after it came out.
Way to go, Roger.
But,
joking.
But you don't,
it's always
you guys
because
will
of
always
Roger.
have like the urge. Women go through menopause. We go through things that like really fuck with our bodies. Excuse that, Mark. We're on break.
Yeah.
But I mean, it
No
really messes
gateways.
with your chemistry.
Well,
It messes with your brain chemistry. It messes with a lot of things. And
see, you're getting into like a rough area. Like, they keep talking about this early ejaculation stuff. I call that laziness.
oh
Yeah,
boy,
I call that laziness. That's just laziness. If you freaking get off early, that means you need to finish the job, dude. You don't freaking get all lazy and roll over. You know what I mean? It's like, Stop being bad to your woman. Take care of her. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
oh my God.
That's nothing a BJ can't fix.
I don't
Right.
know if we're going to be cut off on YouTube and Facebook for this conversation.
No,
we're on break, Mark. This is our safe zone.
No,
This is
not on the video platforms.
You can get away with this. It's just
30 seconds, by the way.
We can use technical terms. I can go technical if you want.
As long as you don't get
That's
into
why
the
I
whole
always
medical
say
thing.
innuendo is best. But anyways,
Oh boy!
and here's your countdown.
It took me forever to figure his last name.
4, 3, 2, 1, and you are back live and on the radio side for hour 2 right now.
10:05 p.m. Wednesday, January 1st, 2026. What a break that was. Wow. So, yeah, my producer is seriously sweating right now as to whether or not he's going to get ejaculated from the platforms. How's that for innuendo?
Wow.
How is that for innuendo?
No,
But,
it's ejected. There's
No.
Use the
I
proper
said what
term.
I said. It's the same thing if you actually think about it, but
It's whatever
welcome
you're
back,
aiming
guys, to the
for.
show. It was, like I said, it was a wild and woolly break. Fun. Very fun, but wild and woolly. Okay, so we're back. And actually, that whole conversation started because of how the hell we ended up with like 70 some odd different identifications for sexuality, and nobody can figure that one out. And I don't think any one of us on this board can actually name all of them. Nor do we care to, honestly, because then we have to go into the actually how messed up is the psychology of society right now, that they have to think of all these different interspecies type identifications for sexuality, for God's sakes. The simplest thing on the planet, male and female. Really, the first thing that kids pretty much learn. Do I have something hanging off me or don't I? Literally. And yet we are in a time, in a location where we have people appearing before our Congress and Supreme Court and telling us they cannot identify what these things are. God, it's a glorious time to be alive. Not really. Not really. You know, it's I almost look at the Adventists and kind of laugh and say, you know, maybe the end times really are here. Maybe this is the end times, because God help us, nobody seems to know anything anymore. And they all wrap it up into feelings and feel good things. And it's like they're trying to use terminology and psychology as a drug. Have you ever thought of it like that?
Okay, I got the list. You want to hear it?
Oh no, God, do not, because we'll be at the end of the show by the time you get through it. Because we'll be stopping you. What? Can you do it in like a song?
I could actually.
No, because it'll violate probably some sort of DCMA thing.
He's getting ready to choke to death. He's like sitting there, oh, don't say nothing no more.
He can't believe you pulled up the list. Oh, Mark, you don't know us very well. But, all right, that being said.
It's just the LGBTQV.
QRSYV, yeah, that too. Yeah, the alphabet people.
They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
But you notice how, have you guys noticed how it's like I said, it's like they're the Suicide Squad for the Democrat Party. Have you noticed that all the protesters out in Minnesota, that's what they are? Mm-hmm. It's like they're literally the Suicide Squad for the Democrat Party, and they don't see it. It's like y'all have been used, abused, degraded, and dumped on the side of the road to do all the crap work and then take all the blame. Good job. It's like,
me and Mark were on a Naroki show the other day, and apparently some of those protesters took the wrong turn and ended up in Quebec. Okay. They had signs out there saying, "ICE, go home, you don't belong in Quebec," and everything. Literally had signs up, and I'm like, dude, that's in freaking Canada. What the hell are they doing? It's like,
So what they want the ice to melt in Canada? I don't know.
Big headline just yesterday. I think it was New York Post. Yeah, but yeah.
You know what? I got to give a shout out to the ICE agents, though. If there's anybody listening to the show that is working in ICE with the federal government, I got to give you guys a shout out and a pat on the back for your new way of handling things with the protesters, which is to scan their license plates and follow them home. Apparently the 911 boards in Minnesota are getting blown up by the protesters because ICE is following them to their homes. I think that's, honest to God, the funniest crap I've ever heard in my life, and probably the most intelligent way to handle things at this point. Follow them home.
That's all part of Jack
for the other side and give them a shout out and say, I don't want you looking at my license plate.
Why? Don't block traffic. Then don't block and obstruct and arrest. If you don't want your license plate scanned.
About that. Oh, I didn't know that's what you were talking about. I got
you. Yeah, they're going after the protesters that are obstructing, and instead of like confronting them on site, they're scanning their plates and following them home after the protest.
They were just scanning, plates here and there. They were doing that all over the place, everywhere. Just they dragged a girl out, some white girl, but she was dressed up in scrubs. And so they thought she was doing whatever, because dressed up in scrubs, and they dragged her out of her car.
Dude, is that the one that claimed she was disabled?
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, that was the girl. I know who you're talking about. She was dark-haired. She's a Latina.
No,
and they pulled her out of her car.
No,
they got this some girl who was claiming that she was disabled and going to her doctor's appointment, and she was autistic.
This is a blonde girl, different gal.
Yeah, it was right. It was right on the side of the interstate too.
Yeah, right on that.
Pulled her out. Wouldn't even let her show her ID, man.
Did she cut off? Okay, so the question comes to: did they show the film from when she was being pulled out of the car, or what she was doing beforehand?
I've seen them do this so many times. It's ridiculous to me.
See, the problem is, again, if you cut off any vehicle of law enforcement, it doesn't have to be ICE. Any law enforcement vehicle, if you cut them off.
I'm talking about them just pulling people over for the heck of it. That's what I'm talking about. Not people that are what you're talking about. I'm talking about them just profiling and pulling people over and dragging them out their window like they did this gal. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it reminds me of L.A.
I give them a shout out.
I think L.A. is what it really does.
Come to my house and try that shit, ICE. See what happens.
Well, if you block them, yeah.
They're going on doors, and they already are. Come knock on my door.
They are knocking on doors, but 90% of the time it's because they're following up on, again, people who have caused big issues.
Come to my house at 120
I don't think you want that.
And find out.
But again, Jason, you're saying that. Have you committed a crime against them? Have you gone and blocked one of their investigations?
There's 10 apartments here. I haven't, but come to one of these other 10 apartments and knock on that front door, and there's going to be problems.
Don't cause a problem.
This is my domicile. That's my door too.
Well,
you know what I mean? What they're doing is what they're doing. But you knock on my door and come try to throw me around with the IVC blood clot filter where a posterior strut's sticking through the freaking wall, the vein. You put me in cuffs the wrong way, you might kill me. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm taking one of y'all with me. I'll just say it straight out.
I got to defend ICE in this because they are literally doing what is required.
I was born in this country.
I don't see they're doing anything that's required since Trump's been.
They are.
Everybody's gloating about how great
they are.
He's done absolutely nothing to help or anybody who's actual American citizens in this country. I look around.
I can tell you
what exactly has he done.
I haven't right now. I just said to him out the other day. I went to fill up my tank. I filled up my tank for under $30. Okay, I haven't been able to do that in years.
So the price of the gas is more important than people getting the proper care that they need when they go to the hospital.
They're working on the health. They're working on the health.
They haven't raised their finger once. Tell me one thing they've done in healthcare that they've actually
go look it up.
They've taken vitamins.
He's trying.
RFAs. No. We got to get these nutrition supplements.
Number one, he brought down the cost of insulin. Roger. He brought down the cost of. Yeah, he brought down the cost of insulin.
No.
He brought down. He's nailing big pharma. He brought down the cost of insulin. He's going after the trade agreements when it comes to big pharma because one of the reasons we're paying so much is because of big pharma.
My mom was a freaking diabetic, okay, who freaking went senile and freaking died freaking just recently with cancer that we didn't know she had until 3 days before she died. So don't tell me Donald Trump is doing shit.
That's not Donald Trump's fault, Roger.
Donald Trump
come on.
didn't do shit. Nobody else has done shit.
Come on. That's not done. That's not his fault.
We've got to worry about this foreign drug that's getting. Hold on, let me finish. We got to worry about this foreign drug that's getting snuck in by China. But people are dying on the streets right now because of heroin addiction, crack cocaine, and everything. But Donald Trump says that this is the worst freaking drug.
It is.
No, it's not, dude. People are dying every day.
Yes, it is. Fentanyl, dude, I worked in medical. Fentanyl is highly dangerous.
Fentanyl is.
One dot of fentanyl can kill you.
It's not killing even half the amount of people who are dying from crack cocaine today.
Actually, it is.
Nobody's raising a finger to take care of it.
It is killing a lot of people. And actually, they just put out the stats on that. Literally, it's gone down to nothing.
That's whatever, dude. No, people aren't freaking dying from fentanyl like they're dying from crack cocaine.
Roger, I know 3 different medics that died from fentanyl overdose because of treatment they were giving patients.
I know
3.
I know people who've died from freaking crack cocaine, dude. More than 3, a hell of a lot more.
So do I. But fentanyl is a drug that basically, crack cocaine, you can't touch somebody and kill them. Fentanyl, you can.
First of all, it's the horse tranquilizer that they're mixing with it. Second of all, I literally know like one person per month that dies from this. I live right near North Philly. And,
I lost a client that died from fentanyl.
Right. Well, it's the horse trank too. Now you got 25-year-old kids that are seen with their legs cut off, their arms cut off. They've been using for not even a year, 2 years, and it's because of this I'm going to say it wrong, but it's something like melatonin. It's not even the fentanyl.
Oh, the stuff that came in from Russia?
I don't know where it comes in from. It was
China or Russia. Yep.
It used to start with an X. And now they're putting something called melatonin rather than the cyclazine. I'm saying both of those chemicals.
And it eats their flesh, like it eats them like an acid.
And I've seen this,
horrible.
and I do see it. I don't know. I don't want to tell y'all how I see this, but I see this on a weekly basis. And the kids are getting younger and younger. I saw a gal. I found out she was 30. I thought she wasn't a day over 25. Yeah, she was in a wheelchair with her leg cut off from the knee down. So, it's not getting better. It's
I saw that coming up. That started.
Methadone doesn't block it, so it's not like before where you could get on a methadone clinic. And the thing is, you could go try to get high, but it wouldn't work because the methadone is already in the receptors of your brain. The Afghan poppy type heroin that's actually made from Afghan poppy, from something from the earth, even though it's refined, used to go there and just bounce right off the receptors, and the user would not get high. And after trying this 3 or 4 times and saying, damn, I spent $40-$50 3 or 4 times, and all I felt was a little tingly and a tiny bit of a rush. Like, this just ain't worth it no more. And then the user gets weeks that turn into months, and now they have a little bit of a choice, at that point. Now, I'm not saying for every user that methadone is the right thing or whatever, but for this, it's a nightmare. The other thing is when they come to... If you OD on this stuff, Narcan will not work on the melatonin or the other horse trank. It's called cyclazine. It starts with an X, the word. God, I wish I knew how to pronounce it correctly. But yeah, so both of those things are horrid. The fact that methadone won't block it, and the fact that Narcan will not work to take somebody out of it.
Honestly, I think Narcan, this was my big thing with fentanyl also, and as well as the opioids, which were, by the way, just as rampant as the fentanyl. And the fentanyl is rampant, Roger. It's rampant. I mean, I can tell you the medical fields are infested with it because people use it to get through their days.
I'm going to tell you what, I've been in recovery freaking since 2003, okay? And I can tell you right now, freaking, it is a bigger epidemic than fentanyl will ever freaking be proven to be. People are dying.
I can tell you,
people are dying people are dying by the thousands on a daily basis because of cocaine, because of freaking heroin, because of freaking all of this shit. But
that shit, you have to use quite a bit of it.
We have to focus on Donald Trump preaching fentanyl because fentanyl is what he's going after China for. It's all political, has absolutely nothing to do with helping people with drug addiction.
Not just going after China.
Yes, it is.
Has not just China. It's also the cartels.
He has not lifted his finger whatsoever to help the individual American who needs to freaking pay his bills.
So, okay, wait. Roger, what would you like him to do? He's got to fix all this shit that's been done for the last 20 years.
He's taking all the money. He's taking all the money from USAID and he's funneled it back into the government so that he can put that into ICE,
because he hasn't tried to do that.
It into the military.
And by the way, ICE is being funded by personal. You got to look it up. ICE right now is being funded by donors. I mean, main supply. He's not reasserting funds from the federal government into ICE. That's not what's happening. He took a bunch of IRS agents and put them over into ICE and then brought people in. Basically, he's training people from the military. And a lot of that funding came from donors, and you can look it up.
USAID went right back into the government so that it could be reorganized and put into the programs he wanted it into. That money would have been useful if it would have went right back to the people who freaking
and every time we have gone to court to stop the payments going to the illegals, because let me tell you, we have between $700 billion and $1 trillion going to illegals to cover their medical.
Yeah.
Okay. Their medical, their food, their shit. Every time, wait, let me finish. No,
it's always
wait till I finish.
Problem, right?
Roger, wait till I finish. Every time we've gone to try to reverse that and get these states to stop funding it, they claim sanctuary and they won't do it. So now what do we have to do? We have to cut off federal funding to these states, which does what? It hurts the people in the states. The American citizens in those states are being hurt. Why? Because their state governorship and their state governments refuse to turn the faucet off. So the benefits go to the people who are actually paying the taxes. Because that is what's not happening. That's what's not happening right now. Even in Florida, we're having a really hard time getting our benefits to cycle back around because we have so many counties that are basically sanctuary.
Each state, according to the Constitution, has the right to do whatever they want to do.
Correct.
Now, when it comes to freaking us having a federal government that's trying to enforce federal laws on a state, freaking that is going against the Constitution because, unlike popular belief, federal law does not supersede state laws.
Yes, but you're now fighting my battle for me because I just said to you, a lot of the money that you're complaining about that we don't have is going into resources and being abused and not going to the American people where it's supposed to. And you want Donald Trump to fix that, but you don't want the federal government to exceed its authority.
I don't want Donald Trump to fix it. I just want his ass out of office because he has done absolutely nothing. He promised to do this shit. He promised to do this shit when he
You've given him a year.
He hasn't.
You have given him a year to unscrew 150 years worth of freaking crap.
Give him 2 years and he's not going to finish a damn thing.
Really? Because he's doing quite a bit.
No, he's
not. You're giving him a year.
No, he's not.
Roger, you wouldn't know about 3/4 of the corruption if he was not in office.
Dude,
you wouldn't know any of it.
Corrupt. He's done. He is just as corrupt as
even if he is. Even if he is, you would not be aware of 3/4 of what has happened.
Just because
unless
he's
he was in
done
office.
his corruption doesn't make it freaking right. Oh, it's okay now.
No, I didn't say he was.
Freaking,
I did not say if he's corrupt. I don't believe he is corrupt, but I do believe him doing what he does exposes all the corruption that has
no
occurred.
war. He said no war. How much conflict has he gotten?
What war are we in? What war are we in?
He freaking bombed.
No, Roger, tell me what war.
Dude, it's a conflict. It's a conflict.
What war are we in, Roger?
I said conflict. Okay, he didn't say war.
We're not in any wars.
He said conflict. Right now? He was against conflict.
Okay, so he has stopped 8 wars throughout the world.
He hasn't.
To date. Yes, he has.
He hasn't.
Go look it up.
Name them.
He had one recently overseas in Indonesia. He stopped the Pakistani conflict. He has stopped. Yeah, because you're not looking for it because you hate him.
No, because it freaking wasn't popular. It wasn't big.
My God!
Right?
Because you hate him.
Yeah, of course I hate him because he's gone against every freaking thing that he I voted for the man, dude, because he said
Roger hates him because of the things he did.
He has done absolutely nothing that he said he was going to do.
Then tell me what war we're involved in. Tell me what war we're involved in.
It's time for break.
We're going out on break. We shall return. This has been fun. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Too late. Aaron took us to break.
Still can't tell me what war he got us involved in. We're not in any wars right now. Because you said war.
Vietnam wasn't a war.
He promised not to get us involved in war, and we're not in a war.
Vietnam wasn't a war.
But again, he promised not to get us in a war.
Ukraine
we're not in a war.
Something like a war. I mean,
we're not in Ukraine.
War of dollars of ours. I wouldn't call what's happening in the Levant a war. That's certainly true.
His promise was he was going to get us out of all these conflicts.
Yep, he did not. Well, what's happened? Israel has not invaded Iran. Iran has not invaded Israel. We're not involved in that boots on ground at all.
Yeah,
we're not boots on ground in Ukraine. We're not boots on ground in Greenland. We're not boots on ground in Venezuela. We're not boots on ground.
Well, technically, we are boots on ground in Greenland because we lease a base there.
Right, but we're not at war.
No.
And there's no conflict there. War.
There's a negotiation. There's a difference between, when bullets fly.
Yep.
And you have legislation that deal with international treaties.
Yep.
And they never said conflict. That's something the far right's pushing.
But don't think that we couldn't use the Monroe Doctrine there.
These are the 8 wars that Trump has avoided. Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, Iran and Israel, India and Pakistan, Cambodia and Thailand, Israel and Hamas. Yeah, those are the wars that he has prevented.
You know anything about Azerbaijan? Good luck keeping that. Good luck keeping that.
I just know that's not going to happen. He stepped in. He negotiated a peace.
That's temporary.
I know he's kept. I can tell you for a fact he stopped Israel from going into Iran.
The U.S. has always been
dropped love
isolationist country. The U.S. has always traditionally been an isolationist country. You are going back to isolationism.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
One of the videos I posted up the other day on chat was related to this. The U.S. traditionally is an isolationist country.
That's the way it was before World War II.
And what usually happens when we go into that? 4 to 10 years later, we're in a world war. So, if we don't make a bigger buffer for ourselves, like Greenland and controlling the Gulf of America, all right?
Yep.
Then we could probably end up in that again a lot quicker.
Greenland, we gotta do that one because we gotta get the frickin' Europeans.
No. We're doing that because that's the entrance to Hollow Earth.
Well,
not
too.
just that, dude.
That
We've
too.
been paying for Greenland for how long now? And like I said, we've been giving them money for their native citizens in Greenland. This is what kills me. We have a line item, okay, in our budget that's been in there since the 1940s, where we pay a stipend to Denmark for the population or the native population of Greenland, okay, to help them with the native population of Greenland, to give them different abilities to do things, health, all that good stuff. What did Greenland do, or what did Denmark do? This is a stipend that the only way it gets adjusted, it's always a lump sum amount in the budget, but the only way it gets adjusted is it's not adjusted for say losses. It's only adjusted for like gains. In other words, they estimate the population growth, they pay that amount per dollar, and they adjust per dollar price amount in the United States. So what the value of their money is versus our money. So they're always getting a higher amount every year. So what did Denmark do? In the 1960s and 1970s, all the way up until the 2000s, they were sterilizing the native population, the females, without their knowledge or permission. They were inserting defective IUDs and sterilizing them.
Britain, so was the US.
Yep. But they did that, but they were still accepting our money based on the higher amounts the whole time. And now, see, apparently somebody blew the whistle in Greenland, and now the native women, are suing the snot out of the Danish government for doing this, because they went in for birth control, and what happened is they were sterilized.
30 seconds.
That's voluntary. That's voluntary eugenics too, though. You got to understand that. That's where all that comes from.
Have you done any research on West Indies?
Because, dude, we did it here to the black population.
The US is still paying Denmark for that.
Yep. So, like I said, the Danes don't have a leg to stand on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're live and back on the radio side right now.
Wild and woolly, always. And you guys got to understand, we're going to disagree about things, but it's still, I have great respect for Roger. I hope he has a respect for me. But we stand our ground. Both of us are dug in, because I don't know, I see a different dynamic happening than others do, and maybe that's because I follow pretty much everything, and I watch what's moving and what's not moving, and I know what makes sense. And I know that what I'm seeing, what makes sense is that we are going to, guys, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but we are heading into a financial reset. No two ways about that, and I'm saying that because gold and silver are still topping out at ridiculous levels, and the fact is that the banks are in really deep trouble because of the positions they held in silver.
Well,
they are in not recoverable trouble.
Yeah, silver was $100 last night, and then
2-3 years anyway.
90.
A lot of Europe has been in recession for technically maybe last 2 years.
Mark, here's the problem. It's the historical markers when it comes to when gold and silver do this, and they've never done it to this level before, ever. But whenever they rise in tandem like this, we have gone into like ridiculously large recessions, if not depressions. And right now we are exceeding the levels before the Great Depression by double. So in other words, we are in the banks are in really big trouble. Like, I don't know how long they can continue to hide the trouble they're in.
But for the foreseeable future, we've always got quantitative easing, both the US and UK, and a lot of Europe has got quantitative easing.
Put it this way, your Bank of England is already setting up a scenario that they're going to crash because of alien disclosures.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
come on.
That's true, though. England can't handle it because of all the freaking alien attacks that's been going on there.
Yeah, that's why they're crashing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it to him before on one of our shows. I want to bring up freaking England recalling a disclosure, 18 files, dude, that was supposed to be disclosed, and they pulled it back because of mysterious reasons, and it was all about UFOs.
I'm telling you, they're going to try to run a blue beam. I'm telling you guys, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Those idiots are going to do it. And here's the thing, probably half of the world's population is going to fall for it. That is the worst part about this. They're all going to be like, look, aliens, we all got to worship the same God. This is wonderful.
England
I can touch it.
About it. It's not a lie. They know the whole deal. The Queen was a freaking reptilian.
Yep. But like I said, they're building a narrative that's like, I said to somebody, literally, just go read Project Bluebeam by Serge Manasse. Go read it. You're going to be really embarrassed when you get done reading it and then look at what's going on right now.
Well, I think they need to update it though, because I think it's going to be a lot more technical. It's going to be a lot more technology involved, and it's going to be directly linked into the brain. Like, you're not going to have like visions of looking up in the sky and think Jesus is sitting there. You know what I mean? It's going to be
it's going to be the technology they used in Venezuela. It's going to be voice to skull technology. It's going to be acoustic. A lot of it. Because that is the one thing we cannot fight.
I guarantee it's going to be freaking waveforms being introduced into your brain. It's not even going to be
acoustic.
It's not going to be like speakers or anything. Or it's going to be vibrational. It's going to go right into your brain.
Frequency. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's going to be all frequency directed. In fact, a little advice and even a plug. There's a website out there called lessemf.com. Go look it up and get yourself a cap. An EMF shielding cap that they have them like the
aluminum
you can get
foil hat.
Dude. No, it doesn't. There's no aluminum foil. It's actually they're really nice. But
just go get you an aluminum foil.
Like the winter caps, and you can get a baseball cap that'll shield your brain. I'm not playing. I am not playing, and this is not me playing conspiracy theorist. I've been saying it for years. This stuff is messed up.
They got cool freaking aluminum foil hats now. Freaking Leak Project even has baseball caps where it's got the aluminum foil on.
So does Less EMF. Yep. You can get baseball caps. You can get clothing. Things that will protect you from frequency waves.
Yeah. And
I wish I was joking when I'm saying this, because I'm dead serious. Go look at it truly, if you want some semblance of security, because they have these weapons. They've had these weapons for decades now. Mm-hmm. In fact, years ago when the Beltway sniper happened and the naval shipyard shooter happened, because I studied what they were saying before they went on these rampages, and I said, that's voice to skull technology. In fact, Mark, we did it on one of my shows. And I discussed it. I said they were talking about a voice telling them to do things in their head. Well, these guys they're older men. If it was schizophrenia, they would have been diagnosed years earlier. I mean, no, this was voice to skull technology.
There's something I want to mention too about the resources stuff too. You've mentioned it, and I hear a lot of people talking about freaking silver. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing about this whole deal is you got to kind of be watchful over that, because there's a lot of hype going into the silver trade as well. So it could be possibly true that there is a shortage of silver, but it could also be manufactured, like a lot of things. Because like if you pay attention, especially on the internet, people are pushing, come buy silver, buy silver, buy silver. It's a big sell now. Everybody's pushing that. And they're throwing like fear out on people, like gold is going to be the only freaking resource there's available because the economies are going to crash and stuff. And they don't realize that if the economy crashes, gold isn't going to be freaking worth
gold isn't going to, you can't eat it. Yeah. I always say that you can't eat it. You can't drink it. You can't, unless you're really, really, really good at physics, you can't get it to power anything. You're going to do better selling firewood and and stocked cans of beans and teaching people how to grow herbs and having chickens and things like that. Those are going to be valuable.
See, now you're talking my language. I don't buy into all this shit. Like I don't, like, if you want to help me freaking make it to where these laws aren't freaking making it to where it's illegal to have freaking farm animals in freaking a town, or freaking, I can understand in the city, you don't want chickens and pigs running around, okay? But in small towns, there should be no problem with people freaking having chicken coops.
I know actually our county where we live, and because we're zone ag where we are, we can have chickens, roosters, whatever we want, pretty much. But the county itself was restrictive. They didn't allow chickens. They didn't. I mean, you couldn't. You still can't have a rooster, but they recently passed a law, like 4 months ago, giving people in the county the right to own 4 hens in basically the city areas. So they're allowed to have hens in their backyards now, which I think is awesome. But they say because of the noise ordinances, they don't want the roosters. I don't blame them. We have quite a loud rooster. He's very vocal, but I get that. But again, they're opening up, and I gotta give it to Ron DeSantis. I don't like some of his connections. I know he's connected to Israel in a lot of ways, and I don't like that. But I don't like it with the Israeli government. I think the Israeli people can be workable, but the Israeli government, I'm done with them. But it's funny because he's doing all these things. He's passing these laws in Florida that are making it it's making it a very, again, a viable area to live. They're trying to make it so you can be self-sufficient if you need to be. The only thing I don't like about Florida still is that the smart boxes, the grids, and just like pretty much every other state in the continental United States, you're required to have a smart box somewhere on your land if you're going to develop on that land. It's very hard to get off the grid, especially in Florida. Florida, it's really hard. So it's even if you're going to do solar, they require you to have a smart box hookup somewhere on the property.
They're making it illegal for off the grid in a lot of places now.
Yep.
If you try to go off grid, they will literally arrest you and take your land from you.
Well, I mean, come on, this is the United States where we whisper about the fact that there have been people arrested for collecting rainwater on their own property.
Well, rainwater is actually good water if you know how to do it. But the problem is with that is there isn't too many people who know how to actually do rainwater properly. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you've got to learn how to filter it correctly and stuff of that nature. And then the mosquitoes.
Yes. Well, in Florida specifically, you got to be real careful with that because they're like Jurassic mosquitoes down here.
Mm-hmm.
But and they carry disease, and that's, it's even worse now. Thank you to Bill Gates and Oxitec. Real big thank you there, brother, for your cloned mosquitoes that, somehow went haywire. Well, they didn't escape. They just didn't do what they were supposed to do, which he told us they were going to kill off the breeding population. And what they did was we ended up with things like, encephalitis and, oh God, what was that disease that was going around that caused the brain deterioration? The children born with like half a brain. That came from the Oxitec mosquitoes. I mean, and they'll say, oh, it was the hurricane. No, because we've had plenty of hurricanes in the state of Florida, and that's never happened. Okay, literally, it came after they released the Oxitec mosquitoes. And yeah, they'll deny it and they'll look the other way. But Oxitec is a Gates Corp Foundation company, fully funded by Bill Gates.
I think we ran Jason off.
Oh no, he's just quiet. He's mute. He's probably pissed about the last conversation. That's okay. I didn't mean to butt hurt you, Jason, but I don't back down, and neither do you.
What's that?
Yeah,
there you go.
We were wondering where you went.
I knew I'd get him out. Jason, you're so easy to bait.
Well, you could have said
you're
anything.
So easy to bait.
Like hello, but I guess you're the one still thinking about that. I wouldn't even.
I was baiting you out into a conversation. It's the easy way to get you to turn your mic on. But
yeah, we were wondering where you went.
On, but I get yelled at when it's on, so I'm trying to leave it off.
I didn't yell at you. I let you guys fight it out with me. Dude, I ain't afraid of no fight. I am the one female that will stand up.
No, I wasn't mad at all about that. No, we do. I think you want to hear something funny? I'm pretty sure this is my 33rd show with you guys.
Yeah.
Not even 32nd. No, seriously, because I missed one. But anyway, no, I ain't nothing like that at all.
30.
I just had my camera on.
Yeah. 33. No, hey, put that camera back on. What are you doing, huh?
No, he's good.
Come on.
But like I said, it's there's so many things, Roger, that need to be fixed. And there's I've said it to people before, there's no way the president is going to be able to do this because he's getting cock-blocked left and right, even by the GOP. They're cock-blocking him too. I mean, it's like the first administration. It's a joke. And until
Anyway, that
they
was
go
me
through,
that intellectually beat you down.
I don't think so, but that's okay. But the thing is that you can't, to me, the way I see it, just looking at everything that's happening and watching what Congress is doing and not doing, more importantly, basically the whole thing's got to get burned to the ground and start again. Because there's no way he's going to be able to fix everything. He can only do what he's going to do. And how is it going to get burned to the ground? And this is what I said to Ralphie. We may not like how this frickin' happens, but it's the only way it can happen. And that is for the military to take control. How does that happen? The Insurrection Act gets declared because the idiots in the Midwest are playing right into it. And there's no avoiding it.
That right there could possibly be what Donald Trump is wanting, because he's
of course
wanting
it
to
is.
overthrow the United States and create his own.
No, he's not wanting to overthrow it. He's wanting to get the corruption out.
Yeah, I mean that's
he's wanting
pretty much
to do what his bosses tell him.
He just wants a tyrannical
He's
government.
no different than every POTUS.
So how is it tyrannical? I want to know what he's done that's tyrannical.
Tyrannical is pretty much everything he's done since he's.
No,
what
explain
is,
to me
I've
how it's
actually
tyrannical.
kept track of the time period from the time he first got into office until now, and he has done complete, insane, outrageous shit.
Like what?
He freaking wanted to deport people, take them down to South America, and freaking put them in prison instead of releasing them.
If they were here, but again, if they were here and charged with criminal actions and their country won't take them back, what do you do with them?
He now has freaking stormtroopers going door to door in masks, searching freaking people.
Why is that? Why is that?
That's not freaking the way.
Because the state is not doing what? What is state? The state is not doing what?
The state's not supposed to do that. Neither is the federal government. We don't.
Really? So what are we supposed to do with child predators that are here illegally? Because 97% of the arrests and detentions are child predators.
Propaganda.
But what are we supposed to do with them, Roger?
Now they're all pedophiles and they're all fucking criminals.
Roger, what are we supposed to do with them?
So see, this is the kind of agenda.
Are you supposed to just let them go?
Trump supporters are freaking saying.
Roger.
No.
What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just let them go?
No. Now everybody who Donald Trump is saying is freaking illegals. They're a bunch of freaking pedophile criminal Mexicans in freaking South America.
No, they're not actually Mexicans. They're Somalians that are being arrested right now.
Every person I hear on the freaking internet talking and
they're
supporting
Puerto Ricans,
Donald Trump
they're Mexicans, they're
no, they're
Somalians.
Somalians. And Puerto Ricans are not illegal immigrants.
So now with Somalia, we're going to be attacking Somalia
documented that they've been arrested. They're not just arresting one race.
Go look at the statistics.
That's not happening, love. It's just not.
Go look at the statistics.
I've talked to people
in
LA that live in these states.
In LA, they've just arrested a bunch of Tren de Aragua. In Oregon, Tren de Aragua. In Minnesota, it was Somalia.
In California, they're arresting Chicanos.
Okay, what's wrong with arresting a Chicano if they have...
In Florida, where Nancy...
Let me ask you a question.
Where you're at, they're arresting Cubans. I mean, you should know that.
Yes.
You're in Florida. They're not just arresting Somalians.
Yes, but we're not arresting the wet foot, dry foot
the white
Cubans.
people that they're beating down and arresting in between.
Because the white people are putting themselves in arm's reach of law enforcement.
You keep saying that to switch the narrative. I'm talking about a girl with blonde hair that Roger even knows about. That was just going to work. She was born in America. And she got pulled over just for nothing because they saw her scrubs.
Have you looked at
That's the fourth time I've said this on the show.
But you're only looking at one.
So whoever, I'm more than comfortable with
stop.
You know what I mean?
You're not letting me respond. Both of you stop. Let me respond.
They literally just went into school. And
guys, let me freaking respond. You're not going to out-talk me.
We're talking about the people aiming their cars at work.
Stop.
Who are white.
Let me respond right now. Okay, stop. The fact is, you're hearing. Hey,
I'm going to cut you off.
Jason. Stop. I'm gonna cut you off. Boss narrative. It's my show. Stop. Okay, the fact is, the scenario, I just looked up the scenario you're talking about. Okay, the white female with the blonde hair. You got her side of the story. You did not get the law enforcement side of the story, and you don't care to hear it because you don't want to hear it. You don't want to believe the narrative. That's fine.
That's because you're saying she was trying to hit them with the car. No, that's incorrect.
I didn't know which narrative you were. Hey, let me finish my story. Let me finish what I'm saying. That was I was thinking about dark.
3 times. Is this
Jason, shut up. I was literally thinking of the dark-haired woman.
Shut up now. I mean, if it's like that,
Jason,
take me off the program.
Stop.
Don't tell me to shut up.
Let me finish my sentence.
Shut the fuck up.
Let me finish my sentence.
You shut the fuck up. Come
Dude,
up here to
let me finish.
Tell me to shut
All
the
right,
fuck up.
Oh my God!
Tell people to shut the
Mark,
fuck
mute
up on
him.
the radio.
Mute him. Okay, I'm trying to finish a sentence. You won't even let me finish it. Would you stop it?
All right, I'm going to end the show.
Thank you.
All right.
Good Lord, I couldn't even finish a sentence. Okay, what I was trying to say is I was picturing the dark-haired female that kept saying she was autistic, and they proved that wrong. When I looked up the blonde-haired female, she was actually involved in something earlier that they had pulled her over for. Now, again, it doesn't make it right or wrong, but it does give a segue. Law enforcement is law enforcement. They're being spit on, shot at, having bottles thrown at them, and they're just following orders out there. Okay, they're doing what they need to do because there is no other constitutional way to do it. They're going to claim constitutional rights, which they've done. Illegals do have a right to certain things in this country. But by claiming those rights, they also put it under the constitutional law, which says that law enforcement can't discern between criminal activity illegals and non-criminal activity illegals. They just have to look at them all as illegals and then sort it out later. They deport them and sort it out later. That is the only way it can be done. And even Barack Obama stated that years ago because of the way the law is written. If you don't like it, you need to protest and have the law changed. But Congress doesn't want to do that, does it? So it ties law enforcement and it ties the president into a position where they either do it or they don't do it. And if we don't do it, we're in bigger trouble, much bigger trouble, because there are literally tens of millions of them here. And not all of them are good people. A lot of them are not good people.
We're in bigger trouble because that's the only focus that everybody who seems to be supporting Trump is about immigration, and there's a lot bigger problem.
No. I agree. I think immigration's the minimal. I mean,
and that's
so
why
corrupt.
everybody wants to talk about. Like, it's about this immigration thing. We have
that's
way
what they
bigger
put.
problems.
Yes. And I agree with you. The healthcare system, Roger. I'm stuck in the middle of the healthcare system. I can tell you exactly how absolutely desecrated it is.
Horrible. You mentioned it the other night about freaking people dying, dude, because they can't get freaking healthcare.
Yes, or even even Rafi, who served this country for his whole life, pretty much in one form or another, is under VA healthcare, which is a freaking joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This man, like my mother just said to me yesterday, we went down to their house. My mom's like, "Oh, he's still limping." I'm like, "Yeah, because the VA never took care of his knee the way they should have."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's ridiculous when you get benefits, and I will say they've got to do something about the ACA. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, the insurance carriers are out of control with what they're charging. And I think Trump's plan to actually give the stipends, the money for the insurance to the people and let them decide what they want to do with it. I think that's the right way to handle it personally. But you think he's going to get that through Congress? No. Congress is never going to allow for that. Why? Because they get big fat paychecks from the carriers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mess, Roger. How do you fix it? How do you fix it? Unless everybody keeps saying he's a tyrant, he's a totalitarian. No, he's not, but somebody's got to be. Because somebody's got to fix it.
It's just, I mean, when it comes to fixing stuff, you have to start, you know what I mean? Stop bullshit and stop playing games.
But the ball stops.
It's like a word. It's a word game where they just want to play it off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then when it gets into they get into office, they don't do a damn thing.
But again, but you have stopping taps. You have Congress that gets in the way, Roger. If we don't like it, we can't go for the president. You got to go for the representatives.
He was doing good when he first started out going on, getting freaking USAID and everything. But see, the thing of it is that money, if you took that money that he got from USAID, because he stuck it back into the government, because he put it back into the government, he literally squandered every penny he pulled out of there. Now, if he would have repatriated that into freaking the taxpayers' pockets, that would have actually done something for the economy. It would have boosted the economy.
But again, you got to understand the dynamics of what they did with the money in the government. They took all the money for the no. Before him, the Biden administration, if you look at what they did with the budgets, all the money that was going into USAID and into actually our military was actually getting bypassed and sent over to basically pay for benefits for multiple things, not just illegals, but all these stupid programs overseas.
He was able to get all that back with Elon Musk, okay? And he had all that money.
No. They tracked it. They tracked it, but they didn't necessarily retrieve it. Not all of it, not even close to all of it.
They had
tracked
over
it.
$8 billion, I believe it was. They were able to pull up.
Do you know how much was stolen from the military?
But instead of repatriating that into taxpayers' pockets, he turned around and funneled it right back into the government. And that right there.
He did?
Yes,
he did.
Close the show out.
All right. Actually, this is a great conversation, but he did in some ways, but again, you have to look at the fact that our military is way underpaid. Those guys haven't gotten raises, and their money was going to everything else but them, even though it was allotted to them. I mean, the mess of the budget. That's why I say they have to the whole economy's got to go, because it's a mess. It is a mess, and so much was stolen. Trillions of dollars being put into fake childcare things, and oh my God, are you kidding me right now? And we paid for it all, dude, and we still elect the same representatives who are okay with that because they don't want to address it.
Mark's making funny finger gestures.
All right, we are cutting it off, guys. Sorry about the argument tonight, but I do have a problem when I'm trying to get a sentence out of my mouth and I can't even complete the damn sentence. All right, with that, join us again next week for the Vixen's Vault. Hopefully Jason will rejoin us, and he'll, but again, it takes a lot for me to tell somebody to shut up. It really takes a lot. I don't even tell Raphael to shut up. It takes a lot. All right, guys, with that, I am out of here for the week. We will talk to y'all next week, and hopefully more exciting, fun events will happen in the interim. Have a great evening. Talk to y'all later.
Primary objective successful. Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.